welcome. This is Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. I am Henry Igwebike. I love us to start this morning, very interestingly, with what we have coming from our newspapers, and right after that will be our main conversation also for today. But do well to be part of what we do, have a say in what we say. You can find us when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am very so honored to have joining me virtually is Emeka Madunagu, journalist, public affairs analyst, to see through all that we have this morning, and possibly we would head straight to our main conversation also for today. Good morning, Emeka, and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you so very much for your time. All right, so let's kickstart today with our dailies this morning, and I would love us to possibly start with one of our newspapers here. Let's kickstart today with the Vanguard newspaper. 2 killed as vigilante foils a bandit attacks on Kogi school. Nigerian money supply grows to 119 trillion naira. Kaduna train attack. Publisher Mamu received 50 million from a terrorist and DSS. Coup. Jonathan trapped in Guinea-Bissau. Let's tell Tinubu the truth on insecurity, and that's coming from Senator Dixon. Emeka, let's start with a colleague of ours. I do not know who this man is, but they say he's a publisher. It's called Mamu, and the DSS are telling us that he received 50 million naira from a terrorist as a result of the Kaduna train attack that happened sometimes back during Muhammad Buhari. Speak to us. What do you think is happening here? Help us make sense of the story. Emeka, are you there? Emeka, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, it's an interesting case. It's an interesting case because Tukomamu has been a negotiator with these terrorists. He was negotiating on behalf of the government, with the terrorists. Now, concerning those people that were kidnapped, that Kaduna train attack. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Emeka. Speak on.
Hello.
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
So he was accused. Yeah, the DSS investigator said he betrayed the federal government negotiating committee by collecting 50 million naira from those bandits or terrorists. If you recall, they made over 1 billion naira. Those criminals made over 1 billion naira from the kidnapping of those Kaduna, those guys, those people on that Kaduna train. So that he made. He accused him of having collected 50 million naira. Now that was a betrayal. That was a betrayal of of the federal government committee. That he was nominated by the terrorists that attacked the Kaduna Abuja train on March 28, 2022. They was accused of convincing the terrorists to discuss ransom payments with individual families of the hostages, instead of a committee set up by the federal government and headed by the chief of defense staff at that time. So, and then they said he collected ransoms on behalf of the Boko Haram terrorists from families of hostages, confirmed the amount, and facilitated the delivery of same to the terrorists. Honestly speaking, if this is true, it is really shameful that the journalists will be involved in such a thing. Look at how those people were brutalized, how those terrorists were flogging those hostages. There was even one elderly man whom they took 200 million naira for. That tells me, confirms the suspicion that there are people in any place, there are people in positions of authority, people in influential positions who are actually enabling the terrorism, this terrorism. There are people who are making money from it. Honestly, if it's found to be true, honestly, this matter has to be treated with every sense of seriousness that it deserves, because this is wickedness. This is horrendous. This is just plain wickedness. I cannot, I've been thinking about it and I cannot just, I can't just believe what I'm hearing. Thank you.
Yes, Emeka, it's actually very sad. But the big question is, does it really matter at this point? Just a couple of days back, Bayo Ononuga has stated that the release of the CAC people that were abducted by terrorists and bandits was more like a communicational issue that happened between DSS, the military, and the bandits, that nothing was paid. But we all know something was given for them to be released. So what difference does it really make that this man collected what he would refer to his constituency allowance? At the same time, the current government of the day allegedly are equally doing the same thing that others have done.
No, there's a difference. You see, there's no government in the world that will come out to say it has a policy of negotiating with terrorists, or that it pays ransoms to terrorists, or that it encourages people to pay ransom to terrorists. No government in the world will come out to say that. But we do know that government, they back all negotiations. What they call non-kinetic approaches. They do backdoor negotiations. But in this guy, in the case of this guy, Tukomamo, he was accused of having betrayed the federal government committee. He was, he said, he had a link to the terrorists. And the federal government brought him on board. He headed the chief of defense. So he was supposed to work with that committee. But they said that what he now did was that he went on his own and was now negotiating with the terrorists and the families of the hostages. He left the federal government committee in the dark. So he was doing his own business. He now turned it into a business of his own, allegedly. That of course is even it's true, it's heinous. It's callous. Because there are instances where, if you remember years ago, when 2 Americans were arrested in North Korea, former President Bill Clinton was sent, to go and negotiate their release. And he went to North Korea and he negotiated their release. He got the 2 of them out. This has happened. But nobody will tell you the final details, that whether money was paid or there was an exchange of prisoners. So in this case, this guy was acting unilaterally, and of course that is unacceptable. That's unacceptable. If it is found to be true, it's unacceptable. Thank you.
All right, Emeka, let's equally look at what's happening from the Punch newspaper for today. Abduction, Tinubu declares emergency as NAS rejects bandit negotiation, and ECOWAS, AU condemns military takeover in Guinea-Bissau. Emeka, let's go to our brothers in sub-Saharan Africa. Guinea-Bissau, it is. I learned the election results are yet to, of course, come out. Just before then, the military actually struck. What do you think is happening here? Is it that the military used this as an opportunity to get into governance, or was it still the deliberate act, the enunciating act of our leaders who truly do not learn across Africa?
Well, the second thing is that the military continues to wield so much influence, in the affairs of African nations. And so, but the sad thing is that our politicians also behave like, this reality doesn't exist. They behave like it doesn't exist. And so look at the case of Guinea-Bissau. Former President Goodluck Jonathan and some other observers are said to be trapped in the country, and He went there as the head of the West African Elders Forum, you know, to go and monitor the election. Now, the two leading candidates, you know, they are claiming victory. So the army just came up and started shooting around the presidential palace, you know. Of course, General Dennis Nkaha, head of the presidential military office, announced that a command composed of all branches of the armed forces are taking over the country until further notice. So now, the incumbent president, Umaru Sikoko Embalo, and his main challenger, Fernando Diaz, both of them are claiming victory, despite the absence of formal results from the Electoral Commission. So when you look at it, it still tells you that, you know, the military remains a potent threat to democracy in Africa. When we say the military should be returned to the barracks, you know, the politicians still go, you know, baiting the military, calling on the military to come and take over power. You saw what happened in Tanzania, where security forces, you know, where other the president, Salma, that woman, you know, she, you know, I mean, because she claimed to have won over 90% of the votes, you know, of course, the security agents opened fire and killed over 100 Tanzanians. So you can imagine, in order to maintain her grip on power, you know, look at how the number of people that had to die. And then tomorrow, if she's overthrown, we will be shouting democracy, democracy. But the question we need to ask is that, is it the killing of people? Does it justify, you know, I mean, the sustenance of democracy? Why should you have to kill people because you want to claim an election victory? I mean, it doesn't make sense. So now, in this case, the military said they intervened to restore constitutional order. So as maybe they will tell you to prevent what happened in Tanzania. You know, if you remember years ago in Ivory Coast, it was the same thing. When, you know, I mean, two contestants, their supporters started fighting, and you saw how many people died. So we really need to ask ourselves the question: in Africa, do we really want democracy, or we're just joking with it? We know that ECOWAS and the African Union, they have condemned the coup, but what can they do? When the one that took place in Niger, ECOWAS couldn't do anything. The other one took place in Burkina Faso earlier. ECOWAS couldn't do anything. Another one in Mali. ECOWAS couldn't do anything. Look at Sudan. Sudan is a basket case now. The African Union has not been able to do anything. So it's like that. Even Nigeria. Look at Nigeria in the grips of terrorism and extremism, you know. And the US is talking about intervening in Nigeria. So that tells you that Africans, we need to reassess our role in terms of democracy. Do we want democracy or not? Thank you.
All right, Emeka, let's equally take a look at the Guardian newspaper for a bit here. Lawmakers declare security collapse, seek death penalty for kidnappers. Emeka, are they saying this because VIP security operatives have been withdrawn from some of them, so they are now beginning to see themselves like Nigerians they have never seen themselves as? So what do you think is happening to our representatives, the senators, the House of Rep members, and other VIPs that need no police personnel, but of course they have the power, they can afford it, and it's often given to them rather than Nigerians? So speak to me on this very sensitive matter.
Well, let me just tell you. I will first of all ask National Assembly. Let them, if any of them that does not have thugs, any of them that has not dropped money to arm thugs, should raise his hand. Before we start saying anything, let me tell you, the insecurity in Nigeria today, you know, arose from the desperation of politicians to capture power and to hold power. When they arm youths with dangerous weapons. So at the end of the day, they abandon these youths. These youths now use these weapons to go and fend for themselves. So, and it continued to graduate until we now had this terrorism. So what we need to do is that we must tell ourselves the truth. Africa, these National Assembly members, they're not just being sincere. Look at one of them yesterday, Senator Ali Wamako was saying that if government truly withdraws police from guarding VIPs, that the terrorists will face them. I said, okay, so is it the ordinary people that the terrorists should face? If you make your constituents, if you make them secure, if you make the entire country secure, there will be no terrorists. You wouldn't need any security guards. You wouldn't need any security, any police regarding you up and down. You wouldn't need it. But because you are the ones looting the treasury, you are the ones making a mess of the country. And that is why you need police to guard you against those people. And let me tell you something. Those security aides cannot protect them all. That's one thing they don't realize. Look, if the terrorists are determined to kidnap them, they will finish them and nothing will happen. So they should stop looting the country. They should stop making the country insecure. They should fix the nation. Because 70% of the issues around crime, terrorism, and others has to do with socio-economic problems. You know? And so if they can fix the country and stop arming youth because they want to win elections by all means, then we'll have a safer country. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Emeka. I think we have to leave it at this point just to let us know that Emeka would still be here to take us on our main conversation. That is when we return. 6 parties, 3 decades. Can Atiku win at 81? That in a bit is still Enterprise Morning. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Thank you so very much for being back, and if you just joined us, this is still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's get straight to our main conversation for today. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has officially joined the African Democratic Congress ADC, marking his 6th party affiliation in nearly 4 decades and fueling renewed debate about his 2027 presidential ambition. Atiku, who left the PDP 130 days earlier after 2 unsuccessful presidential runs, described his ADC registration as the start of a national rescue mission to end what he called the APC's years of misrule. He argued that Nigeria is facing an unprecedented leadership crisis and urged citizens to unite beyond ethnic and religious divides to restore stability and prosperity. He equally moved that, however, immediately drew criticism from APC chieftains Adams Oshiomhole, who questioned Atiku's capacity to lead Nigeria, saying he failed to strengthen the PDP even as a former vice president. Different strokes for different folks there, but of course, let's get talking as I have Emeka Madunago. Thank you so very much, Emeka, for being here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Yes, Emeka, please help us make sense of Atiku Abubakar right now. 6 parties, lots of running for the post of the president at 81, hopefully, 2027, that is. What do you say about Atiku Abubakar? Is he just playing to the gallery? Is he serious about the change that he says he would bring to Nigeria? Or is this more like an Emilokon syndrome, yet again, but from a different vantage point?
Well, I just go back. He's a Nigerian, and he has the right to run. This is what I usually tell people. Don't just sit in your house and be saying, no, this person should not run. No, you yourself, go and run. There are 18 political parties in Nigeria. Go and take the ticket of go and run. Stop sitting in your house and telling people, what to do with their life. Don't run. Well, don't run. You are too old to run. Too young to run. You are unqualified. If I think it's around 27, and you don't support him, use your PVC to stay free. Go and elect the person you want, you feel is better. That way, we will have tolerance, we will avoid intolerance in our democratic space. But for people to be saying that he has no right to run at 81, who said so? Who said so? I mean, it's a Nigerian citizen, as long as he's in good health and of a sound mind. That's what the Constitution says now. That the person must be of a sound mind, of a healthy body, and able, and the person should have a presidential candidate should have a school start with 10 years working experience, or a first school living certificate with 10 years working experience, or secondary school certificate. He didn't even say what should be inside the certificate. Even if the person has F9 parallel, it doesn't matter as long as the person has a school certificate. That is a pathetic thing about our constitution and our electoral laws. So they don't give the chance for people who have, for people who have some measure of, a background in, people have gone to school, people who are educated and sufficiently experienced, to run. So that is why. So why are you now saying that Atiku cannot run? Tell your National Assembly members to amend the Constitution, to amend the Electoral Act, and put first degree or masters, and then NYC. When you do that, you will see that candidate. You will see the kind of candidates you want to run. They will come out. But for now, that is what we have. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Emeka. But what do you say about his chances, really? Yeah, of course, no one is disputing the fact that he is legitimate and is good enough to run. But what do you think of his chances right now, especially moving from one party to another? Do you think that's enough to give him the grassroots support that he needs to win over the APC, where every single governor is plugged into the center and singing on your mandate they shall stand?
But the funniest thing is that they are singing on your mandate. Now, yesterday night, Tinubu declared a security emergency and ordered the police and the military to recruit thousands of Nigerians. But I thought by now that APC would have issued the notice that all his members, all his youthful members, to quickly go and register. That all its party chieftains, from president down, should release their children from military service. It's not about singing on your mandate. It's not about threatening political opponents. What we need is a virile political culture that allows one man, one vote. So even if governors are defecting, they know they're in breach of the Constitution. The lawmakers defecting, they know they're in breach of the Constitution. The Federal High Court in Kaduna nullified the seat of a lawmaker who defected, from PDP to APC. So the matter is still on. So even as they pretend to be Democrats, while they are subverting the democratic process, and serious Nigerians are hoping there will be a chance for us to play politics by the rules. So that's where we are. So Atiku has the right to run. Let anybody defect. But of course, it's the vote of Nigerians by 2027 that will count.
Yes, it is the vote of Nigerians that would count ultimately. But politics in Nigeria is quite dicey. We do not move according to the rules of engagement, and it's a winner takes all. Do you think Atiku has one or two to learn from the last election, 2023 general election? If there are, what do you think he should get on board, especially with his camp, to ensure that he gives the president a run for his money?
Atiku ran in the last election as a candidate. People have blamed him for the crisis in the PDP, but I don't think so, because there are some weak cases should be blamed to receive more of the blame. When Atiku didn't take him as his running mate, he went all out, to bring down the party. You've seen what he's doing, But of course, there are other people who are, who are determined to keep the party as one through the legitimate process. You've heard what Ines Wika has been saying, threatening governors. Is that a serious Democrat? Is that somebody to be taken seriously? You are working for the ruling party to destabilize your own party. What do you expect to get in return? But Atiku has been going through the democratic process. There's nothing wrong. He has not threatened anybody. He has not threatened to go and destabilize any state. He has not threatened to, cause mayhem. He has not done things outside the law. So if he's running, I wish him all the best. I mean, what is that? 2023? Well, it was said that it was the turn of the South. But well, remember also that, politics is an open issue. The issue of North and South. The issue of North and South is just a convention. It's not in the law. So we'll see how it goes in 2027. Even though some people are saying that they should wait till 2031 when to be the turn of the North. But I said, who says so? Who says so? It was APC that produced Buhari, who was there for 8 years. The PDP, the last time they had a Northern president, was Yaradua, who died May 5, 2010. So 2010 to now, 2010 to now is 15 years. So that means under the PDP, the North has not held the presidency. So, that's why it's an open game. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Emeka. Of course, it's a developing story. Right here on Enterprise Television, we hope and promise to bring them to you as it unfolds. So what Nigerians need the most is a participatory development, participatory governance. That's what we need when one brings and another brings, and together we can all, bring something to the table to help make Nigeria a better place. And most importantly, our politicians must eschew this nepotism bigotry that often comes with the type of politics that they play, where they divide and conquer simply because of a personal interest that is obviously not patriotic at no point. Thank you so very much, Emeka. I truly do appreciate you for your time. All right.
Thank you very much.
Yes. All right. That's just about the time we have for today. We'd love to say thank you. Please do well to follow us. If you may, you can find us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Gwibike. Thank you for watching once more, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.